Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Last Cloudia. So today it's going to be more of a topical discussion rather than the regular let's go over a banner type deal. Today we're going to be talking about how to budget if you're a dolphin. So if you're a whale, this might not apply to you because ideally you're spending what you have to basically get all the units and all the arcs. This is more for the budget player or dolphin like myself who tends to mainly invest only for certain characters or certain events. So hopefully this will be educational for everybody to kind of help you decide how do you actually spend money in this game to get basically what you want. Now, before we do that, I do want to give a quick shout out to Awesome Games Done Quick. For those who don't know, I do support their speedrunning charity. It's going to be starting tomorrow on the 9th. And it's going to be basically for a full week until the following Saturday evening. Basically, we're going to be speedrunning a lot of different games. And as they do that, they'll be raising money for charity. They usually do the Prevent Cancer Foundation on one week, and then they do the Doctors Without Borders on the other week. So we have the one in January and the one in July. So the one in January will be starting tomorrow. I highly encourage you guys to check it out on Twitch TV if you want to check it out live. If there's certain speed runs you want to check out. And if you're not the kind of person that cares to watch Twitch, they will be posting these speed runs on YouTube, typically a day or two after they do the live Twitch version. So just wanted to give them a quick shout out if you want to just, check them out while it's live. Do some donations to help a good cause for us gamers who get together to, do all of this. Now, I'm personally not a speedrunner, but I love contributing to the community financially and spreading the word. So I just want you to, be aware of that and know I'm not sponsored by them. They have no idea who I am. But yeah, just check them out. All right, let's get to the video. So typically in Last Cloudia, we have a group of people who are dolphins who typically like to invest only for particular time frames. We sell up a lot of our free crystals, but we do throw a little bit of paid for one reason or another. Now, as far as what's good bang for your buck, the only thing that you can purchase, in my opinion, that's good bang for your buck is the $100 deal. This gives you basically 3 paid multis and 2 free multis. And they only do this during the new year and usually during the anniversary. Now, typically people use this because they always have this gotcha banner where you can spend 9,600 paid crystals, which is what you get from the $100 deal, to get yourself a guaranteed UR and a guaranteed hero, plus everything else is at least an SSR or better. This is definitely the best gotcha this game has to offer. Every time I do this, I usually get at least 2 URs minimum, at least 1 character, and then everything else is just good duplicates. And honestly, it's a fun thing. This will probably be the first time I'm not investing in it, only because I'm going to be investing in other things. So it's going to be a little bit different for me this time. But I do want to go do a quick shout out that I love how they're doing the structure this time. They actually have a split between 2 different versions of it. And the reason for this is so if you want to try to get something more specific instead of just getting a bunch of dupes, you can basically pick one specific group, and depending on what you're missing, you can go ahead and go for that. Or if, let's say, you do want to get a dupe of a UR, that's and you want to have a higher chance of getting that duplicate, then you can just pick the other. So this, I think, is one of the smartest things that Last Cloudia has done. For this particular thing. I love it a lot, and I think it's worth it. Because sometimes when I do this, it does get aggravating when you just get the same UR you already have. That did happen to me once, where I basically got 2 duplicates of Eldrov, and I was very unhappy with that. But all the other ones I've been able to get new URs, which made me feel better. So now, let's say if I want to get Amaterasu, which is a UR I do not have because I did not invest in this banner, this could be something I could pick it up on. So I might choose this one just so I can try to get it. And my odds of getting it are much higher. So as far as gotcha spins, this is literally the best bang for your buck. And that's more or less it. Now, one thing I do want to highlight too that we typically see is the step up banners. I honestly think these are good to do as well for your paid, mainly because you're getting things at somewhat of a discount. and you get a free 10 spin at the fourth step. So this is something if you just want to do a little bit of a financial move just to support them, even if you don't need the stuff. This is probably the cheapest, good paid thing that you'll be able to do, and you do have a chance of sometimes getting the unit or arc that's on that particular banner. Now, going back to all of these paid things here, so one thing that I will say is that the bargain packs that you're going to get, which is usually the same thing as the New Year or the, whatever they're going to call it, they have basically duplicates of the same deals. There's not really much of a difference, except, there's limitations of how often or how many times you can, spend on a particular thing, on a particular bargain. So that's basically just a duplicate. But what was worth doing? How should you spend your money if you're just going to be, focusing on specific scenarios? So one thing that I recommend, and this is something I've done before, is you could just spend, say, $31.99 plus tax, and this will give you one paid multi. And of course, you get some free crystals as well. The reason I like this specifically, not that's not a good deal. I'm not saying that this is a good, bang for your buck. But the thing about doing this now, even if I don't want what's currently on a banner, this is something that you can save towards something later. So, for example, there are some people out there who do not invest in DOH at all. They don't care about DOH. They do not care about URs, and I can respect that. They're the kind of people that like to, invest in collabs only. So rather than having to try to save up, hundreds of dollars at one time to try to get both the arcs and the characters, you could just slowly every, month or, however often you want to invest, you could just buy one of these paid bundles, let's say the 31.99 one, and you can just start saving one paid multi here, one paid multi there. And by the time the next collab comes, you'll have a good amount of saved up paid crystals that you can do the step ups and potentially pity the character if you can't pull them. There are a lot of people out there, including myself, that have really, really bad luck in collabs. Like for me personally, I typically don't pull the arcs. Pulling the characters, I can most of the time. There's only a few collab characters I don't have. But as far as arcs, there's a lot that I don't have just because I've always been very unlucky. But the problem that I ran into was the fact that instead of just saving the paid stuff that I've been buying throughout the year, I was just investing in every banner. I would invest a little bit on, one DOH character, then I'll do it on the summer thing, then I'll do it on a little bit on. I'm basically spreading myself thin to the point to where my odds of pulling anything are just severely low. And then if I get to the point to where I do want to pity a character, I'm having to shell hundreds of dollars at one time, and that's just not smart. Now, again, if you're well and you can afford to, that's fine. But for those of us on a budget, it's better to just buy little at a time and let it build up. And of course, the one that I do recommend, of course, is the 31.99 bundle. Again, none of these particular bundles are actually worth it in general. And if you're the kind of person that can't, say, do $30 every month or 2 weeks or whatever, you could also do the $9.99 one. I mean, most people can afford to spend $10 here and there. It's at least enough for 3 paid spins. Not multis, but, 3 singles. And that could eventually add up too, if you're the kind of person that just saves for collabs or just saves for specific characters or specific arcs, whatever the case may be. Just going through, just doing the paid whichever one, once every month or however often you're going to do it, and just save up and just be patient and not, spend on every single banner. This is going to help you in the long run. So what I'm doing personally is I'm doing a 31.99, which I've already done once, I believe, on one of these banners. And I'm just going to save it. And when I get paid again, I'll do another 31.99. So I have another paid multi. And of course, as I'm doing this over and over, I'm also going to have some free multis saved up as well, because you do get free crystals on top of your paid crystals. So by the time the next collab runs around, if I want to, I could just use my free stuff first, see if I actually pull anything. And if I do pull everything with just the free stuff I have, I can just save up the pays that I have for maybe a future, collab or for the summer event or whatever I want to save up for. So that's basically you being able to save rather than trying to invest in every single banner. So this is probably the smartest way if you're a budget player, is just to pay a little bit here and there. If you want to make sure you can get multis, let's say if you're the kind of person that likes to get the paid weapons for each character, I also recommend doing probably at least the 31.99, just so you have enough to do like a couple of multis, and then be able to at least buy one of the weapons or accessories you're looking for a character. So that's going to be kind of my advice to those that are on a budget for the most part, is just spend little bits and pieces at a time, whether it's 9.99 or 31.99, but actually save your crystals. Don't just drop them in every banner. You know, uh, Make a decision. Say, do I just want to save for collabs? Sure. Do I just want to save for seasonal characters like swimsuit characters or Christmas characters or whatever? That's fine too. Because if you just keep saving and saving and saving, that's going to help you too. Now, another thing you can do as well, let's say you've been doing these paid banners or these paid bargain packs, and you want to spend the free crystals but save the pays for a certain event. That's okay too, because you could use your free stuff to maybe just invest in a multi on a banner just to see if you're lucky or not, and you still have your pays that you can use for the events that actually matter to you, for the characters that matter to you, so that not only can you potentially pull the character since you have so many crystals saved up, but you can also pick up their paid gear as well. One thing that I do want to kind of caution people on, speaking of paid gear, is the fact that not all paid gears are worth it. Now, of course, the paid gears come from the hero credentials. Now, I did already discuss Sarah in a previous video that I did, as far as are these items worth it or not. So if you want to know, are these items good, just check out that other video. But just understand that just because these items are paid, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's worth it. There are some items for certain characters that you can literally find better things out of an SSR arc. And so whenever that happens, like if you actually have an arc item that's just better than, let's say this, for example, then you're better off just not spending your, credentials on the items. You can instead just spend your credentials on prisms. And the reason that prisms are important too is because the only way to get prisms is just to pull duplicates or hope that, the event has at least one or two prisms that you can farm out. But outside of that, a lot of times it's hard to get duplicates, especially if it's on a limited banner like a DOH or a collab. It's really, really difficult to get, prisms for characters. So if you're in a situation where you have used some of your paid crystals, but you don't want to buy any of the items that they have, I would highly suggest making prisms your priority, because that is gonna help you get access to more skills you can put on a character. Because a lot of the best builds of characters are builds that have the most SC, so you can be more creative, and that also saves you from having to switch back and forth for certain, type of bosses, for example. So, that's going to be kind of the credential advice I'm going to give to you. See if one, these items are worth it for your character that you pulled. And if you don't care for the items, then definitely go for the prisms. Now, there are some people who don't believe in even buying items for characters. And that doesn't really bother me. I think that's fine. If you're not the kind of person that thinks buying gear is worth it, that's fine. If that's the case, definitely focus on the prism, because that's going to be your best, bang for your buck. So just kind of want to throw out that PSA too. But yeah, unfortunately, in terms of just, what to buy in general, there's very limited options. Because again, the bargain thing, even though I do spend the $31.99, I can't justify saying that it's necessarily worth it. I don't think it's bang for your buck. It's just something I understand that this is just a gacha game. That's how it is. And in most gacha games, there are very, very rare things you can buy that's literally worth it. And unfortunately, this is one of those games where the only thing that's really worth it in general are these rare $100, bargain packs. And that's pretty much it. Now, as far as like the sets you can get with your paid gear or your paid crystals, I never invest in these. I just don't think they're worth what you're trying to get. I never, ever invested. I may have done it maybe once in the beginning when I didn't know any better, but I say like avoid these sets like the peg. You're just not going to get it. Now, if you get like a free thing, that's fine. Or there are some times where you can get something paid that's cheap but something good. Like for example, we just had one for 300 pay that gives you a free character. That's cool, but that's going to be super rare. It's just not a thing. Now for the unit sets, again, the free stuff, yeah, you're not paying anything, so that's fine. As far as the other stuff, I don't think it's worth it. I think you're just better off saving your crystals for trying to get multis, trying to actually get the character or the arc that you want, or just to save up in general. It typically, if you've been, farming well enough, you shouldn't need these. Especially if you're only pulling for certain characters, you shouldn't have to use your crystals on this. You should be able to kind of just do it yourself by your normal grind. As far as the buy crystals, similar to the bargain, except for the rates are a little bit different than what you would do. Uh, I've invested in this before, but I can't justify these being worth it either. So, some people might like the $40 bundle because you're getting basically a paid multi plus a little extra, but you're getting less free crystals. So it's really debatable if this is even worth it or not. I don't think it's worth it in general, but if you'd rather do the $40 pack than the $30 pack, that's fine. That's gonna be more a matter of preference. But again, these are not. This is nothing that's super worth it, unless you're just trying to save up or anything. Now, as far as the ability boost set, again, I don't think these are worth it at all. Even some of the free stuff, I don't really care about. But yeah, this is not worth your paid crystals. Again, with your paid crystals, I recommend doing step ups. I recommend, and then of course with your credentials, I recommend getting either prisms or items depending on what your preference is. But I avoid this stuff too. I just don't think these are worth it, straight up. Now, as far as a trading boost, I will say that the units one, where you can get a times 3 experience, I actually do use my paid crystals for that for some characters. Typically, they're for collab characters or seasonal characters, because those are the ones that are typically my favorite. So I invest in that just so I can get to them at level 100, so I can get my 1,000 free crystals. And then if I care for them above and beyond, I'll E5 them, get them to 110, and do all the good things. And doing the trading field for a particular character with this will get you at max pretty quick. Uh, is it the best bang for your buck? Not necessarily, only because you can eventually get them to 100 naturally. It just takes a bit. But, if you're the kind of person that just wants to get them there as fast as possible so that you can get that 1,000 free, or if you want to just, use them at their best as soon as possible, then sure, why not? But for me, it's more for just the characters that I care for the most. There are a lot of characters that I don't do it for, but I can kind of understand doing that. Now, the double AP for arcs, I almost never use this. When I use this is only if I get a new arc that has a skill that I'm going to have multiple people learn, which has been a few times. There's about 3 or 4 arcs that I've probably done this to, where I know like 10 or 15 of my characters will want it. So I'll actually pay to double the AP just so everybody can have it as soon as possible. So, I can make it happen. So that's kind of a grind that I do. But again, this is really rare when I do it. Again, this is only one of those things where if you have an arc that multiple characters you want to have learn. It's not a necessity because technically we have a lot of those trading fields where you can get double or triple your AP on a certain event, if you're having a certain character or whatever. So this isn't a necessity. This is just more of a, I just want my 10 or 15 characters to have it soon kind of a thing. And then the double the souls. Now, I don't use it at all personally. I'm at the point right now where I'm almost always at max. And I also don't do the whole IGC3 thing all day long or all night long. I've done it before, but I just don't care to do it anymore. I just don't think it's needed at this point, at least for my account. But no, I don't pay for this. I just don't think I need it. If you're the kind of person that, has been getting a lot of new stuff and you just want to be able to, get your arcs at max faster and, you don't have a built up account, I think this is probably a decent bang for your buck just for that. But other than that, if you have a seasoned account that's already built up, you probably will never need this, like, at all. This is more for the early game players that are just getting new stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it as far as like regular stuff. Now, obviously, friend slots, I don't remember if they require paid or not. If they do, I still say it's worth it. And also for the conquering, 100% worth it. Those should be the first things you invested in the game in general with your crystals, but I don't remember if they're paid or not, so I can't really comment on that. But that's basically the gist of things. So just to kind of summarize, as far as the shop is concerned, as far as how you get your paid crystals, the 9600 paid is the best deal that you can get. The bargain packs are not necessarily the best deal, but if you kind of want to save up instead of having to drop so much at one time, the best way to do it is, of course, pick which one you want to do and just save up until there's a character you want or a collab you want, and then just dump it on that. Also, remember for paid gear, credentials, if you're not the kind of person that likes to purchase items, or if the person that you have better SSR items than what's on here, which does happen a lot, just get the prisms, like straight up. One thing too that I want to bring up, and I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it's something that's been on my mind that I'm hoping ATIS, drops eventually. We can see if this is going to be worth it or not. Is they've talked about doing a subscription service. Now, I have no idea what the subscription service could be. And they've been kind of quiet about it, which basically means that they're not too sure what they want to do either. I don't mind them taking their time because I kind of want them to do it right. The only thing I'm going to say about the subscription service is if I'm going to be forced to pay X amount of dollars a month, so let's say like $20 a month, it needs to be worth it. I need to be able to have a clear advantage by basically doing a regular monthly service. If the benefits that we get for being on a subscription service is just a minor upgrade, then it's not worth spending the money. You spend money because you want to get ahead faster. That's the whole point of it. You want to have some kind of clear advantage. I know this is probably not a popular opinion, but if I'm spending money, it needs to be worth it, straight up. So, I know that's probably one of those things where people are going to go back and forth saying, I don't know about that, and some might support it for one reason or another. This is just my opinion. Like I said, the only thing that I'm hoping is that if and when they do drop a subscription service, I hope that it's worth it. Because if it's only going to be a minor adjustment to your account, that's not that big of a deal, then I'm not spending my money. I'm just going to do my regular budgeting and just drop my money on the collabs, and that's it. Because, we spend money for a reason. I mean, yeah, we want to support the game, but we're trying to get something out of it. And if it's just not going to be worth it, then we shouldn't spend our money on it. It's as simple as that. So that's kind of where we're at there. But hopefully this is giving you some ideas as far as how to save up, how to potentially get what you want. And, because again, I've had the same problem. Sometimes I don't get what I want from collabs. And that's only because I've been impatient. I'm trying to invest in almost every banner, and it's just not smart. So if I want to be sure that I get the specific characters I want, I need to be able to make a decision, pick and choose, and save up. It's something that people don't like to hear because a lot of people don't like to say they want to just drop it on every banner, but sometimes you got to skip. That's just what it is, and that's a valuable lesson here. If you want to be sure to get what you want, skip a lot of things. If you want to skip DOH, that's fine. Or if you don't like collabs, skip collabs and just do DOH. I mean, however, is your priority, pick something if you're a budget spender. Don't invest in every banner, otherwise you're just not going to get stuff. So learn to save. That's basically what it boils down to. So hopefully this helped you guys out. Again, please check out Awesome Games Done Quick, starting on the 9th, going through the end of Saturday, the following Saturday. And until next time, keep gaming and take care, everyone. Later.